Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Oh, excuse me. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling, winning Wednesday. Yay! That day of the week we love to celebrate wins, even though we should be celebrating wins every day when they happen, so they are more memorable wins. So, how has your day been? What wins are you celebrating today or this week? What wins have you got? Let us know in the comments below so we can celebrate with you. So I'm cleaning up my desk because I'm in a little desky space here as I converse with. Okay, I'm now done. I'll probably find something else to fiddle with, because I don't like things just like laying there. It's really funny because sometimes I'm just like, I don't care. And then other times it's like, oh, I need to pick. Oh, that's annoying me. That shouldn't be there. It should be over here. And so I just pick up. But I always make sure, like when I get up in the first thing in the morning, I make my bed. Is the first thing I do in the morning is make my bed. And then one of the last things I do before I go on a walk in the evenings and things is when I have finished at my desk for the day, or my dining table / desk for the day, and completed my Facebook Live. So as soon as I finish this Facebook Live, I'm going to be clearing the desk, making sure everything's in its place, everything is away, and that everything is nice and tidy, because when I finish this live, that's it. I'm done with the computer for the evening. So I will be doing the lock screen thing on this, turning off my Bluetooth mouse, my Bluetooth keyboard, which is pink. I'll be turning those off to conserve the power on them and that sort of thing. And basically hang on. We got a major thing we have to do. Wi-Fi down to one battery light. We'll just plug that in. We don't want it going out in the middle of the... See, this is one thing I don't like about this one. The other one had a little screen on it and it would beep at you when the battery got low. This one doesn't do that. It just quietly turns out the little lights unless you check on it. So yeah, so I could have been in the middle of this live and that thing would have gone out and I would have been like, So that's the last thing I do is make sure everything's put away, everything's clean, everything's tidy. So when I come out in the morning, I've got space and room to shuffle my cards and get my card for the day and do my thing and do my devotions and all of that, and I don't have to worry about tidying up my desk. So I always leave my workplace tidy at the end of the day and my kitchen tidy at the end of the day. Like, the dishes are allowed to be in the dish rack drying. They are not allowed to be dirty in the sink or on. So there's some things I'm just a little, and then other nights I'm still like, look at the dishes in the sink and I'm going, I really don't feel like washing the dishes. Usually I wash as I go. And some days I'm just sort of like in a rush and I just get up and I just go put the dishes in the sink, and then I get to the end of the day and it's sort of like, yeah, I really don't have the strength to clean those right now. So I try to keep cleaning as I go. Some areas in the RV aren't as tidy as my desk or as tidy as my bed stays tidy for a certain amount of time until a certain four-legged furry puppy in this RV decides that she wants to do her zoomies, and she can literally unmake the bed in 2 runs. She will start up there and she'll fly into the bedroom, up on the bed, spin, turn around, and using the bedding as her launch pad to come flying down the RV, and then she'll go back and do it all over again. And I go in, I'm like, I did make this bed this morning. And when she got up, I went and I made her side of the bed. And in less than 30 seconds, she can have the entire thing looking like it's not been made at all today. Because she does her little zoomies and the big clothes end up going, just because of how she spins, turns, and pushes off from the bed, it moves the bed clothes and everything. So, yes. But most things around here are tidy. Sometimes I get a little like, yeah, I don't feel like cleaning that today. But I've been pretty good lately. Been pretty good. Since I got that, since I got a lot of the sorting done, I got a lot of the excess stuff over to the storage unit. It's been a lot easier for me to make sure that certain areas stay clear. I do have to go pick up mail, and that could be a problem because I think there's like 6 parcels waiting for me. So I have to go over. So I've got to get over there. I did not make it today. So my next shot is Friday. Friday after work, or it's going to be Sunday. I tried to go last Sunday. I did. I got there. I put my sunshield up. I got my keys. I got out of the car. I went to the trunk. I got the bags that I'd taken with me to pick if there's any parcels or anything. I locked up the car and realized I didn't have my mailbox keys. So I went back into the car. I got my mailbox keys out. I locked the car. I walked up to the door and and as I'm walking up, I'm going, why are the grates down? Because I do have a key that I can go in and actually get my mail that doesn't require signature or is not a parcel. And I'm like, why are the grates down? I look at my watch and it's like 2 o'clock. No, it was 1:30. I looked at my watch and went, it's only 1:30. They don't close till 3 o'clock. And then I looked at the actual door and there's this little sign on the door that says, we are closed on Mother's Day. Oh, damn it. I had just spent the last few minutes getting myself organized, getting my bags and everything else, unlocking my car again because I forgot my mailbox key and the whole time. And so I went back, put the bags back in the trunk again, got back in the car and took my sunshield down and put that away, put my keys back, my mailbox keys away where they go. And I'm looking out the window. There are so many people walking up to that door. And like this one couple's walking along and they got this great big long, it must have been like 6 or 7 foot long parcel with them and it was like about this square, but about 6 to 7 feet long. And of course, they're carrying it to go and get it sent, and they get to the door and it's closed. And I was like, okay. And this guy, he's like walking along and he's looking at his phone and all that, and he's got his parcel under it, he's got his keys in his hands, and he walks up and he actually puts his hand on the handle and starts tugging. And that's when he stops looking at his phone and looks at the door, gives it another tug, and walks away. So it would have been, I'm sure the guy in the pickup truck that was next to me, because he was sitting directly in front of the door, I'm pretty sure that he was, I don't know who he was waiting for, but he was sitting there with the engine running and so the AC was running. He must have had, I don't know if he was waiting for somebody to come out of the market or what it was, but he must have had the most entertaining time watching people walk up, try the door and looking all around going, why is it not open? Checking their watch and everything else, because we all know that they changed their hours on us though, because they did used to close at 5 and I did turn up one day at 4 o'clock and they were closed. I'm like, what the heck? And then I saw their little sign saying that on Saturdays they close at 3. I'm like, they don't close at. So the next time I was in, I asked them about that and they said, oh yeah, that's the new thing that we started on the 1st of the month. I'm like, thanks for the notification. It would be nice for us box holders to have known that. But anyway, so yes, mail on Friday night. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get it on Sunday. I did attempt to go get it, and I got people who have sent me parcels. Well, did you get the parcel? Well, I went on Sunday to pick it up, and they were closed. So I'm trying to find another time to get over there. So if you've sent me anything and I haven't responded to it yet, please be patient. Please be patient. But we had fun today watching the house across the road. I'll tell you, is having massive renovations right now. They're turning it into a year-round rather than just during the winter months. They're going to be living there year-round. So they're doing these massive renovations to make the place more comfortable for them during the summertime. And one of the things that a lot of people here in Arizona do is they have stucco on the outside. And when you actually watch the process, you can actually understand why stucco is energy efficient when it comes to heating, when it comes to the excess heat and all of that sort of stuff. Because we watched them take out a lot of the windows, board up some windows, and put new windows in. So we've been watching the entire process because it's happening right outside the front window. Zeffie gets amused with it each day. She spends some time up there in the morning just watching the workers. And then they came through, what day are we on? Wednesday. They came through Friday? Yeah, Friday. They came Thursday and Friday. They ripped off all of the siding and all the skirting underneath, and then they put up the Tyvek, I think it was. They put up the paper that goes over the thing before you put the other stuff on, the underlining stuff. I think it was Tyvek, something like that. But it had big Home Depot thingies on it, logos on it. And so they put all that paper up, left it for the weekend. Then yesterday they came back and finished off all of the paperwork, all that lining stuff, finished that off because there were some places that needed to be finished off and some places that weren't quite covered. And then they did some more of that yesterday. And then today this team of workers turned up. And we've been watching another house around the corner here that's been having these mods done, and they had that Tyvek paper up for a while, and then they came back and they put the polystyrene sheets up and then put the mesh over top of that. And so I knew they were getting ready for stucco. And theirs has been this took a couple of weeks from when they stripped the siding off to when the stucco went on, was a couple of weeks. Well, they stripped all the siding like Thursday, Friday last week. They came in and then they came back and did some tidy up work and all of that. And then there's people that are working inside the house as well. And then this morning, this team of workers turned up, and they had this trailer, and on the back of the trailer, they had, and inside the trailer, you could see the stacks of polystyrene sheets, and they're like about, an inch to 2 inches thick, and they are out there. It was 85 degrees when I took a picture of it this afternoon, and it's 85 degrees, but it said it feels like 94. So for those back in New Zealand, you're looking 30s. You're looking around 30 degrees, but feels like around 35, 36, somewhere around there. So they're out there and they get these sheets of polystyrene and they're like getting all of this stuff up. And then going and we watched the whole process. They got up there, they were putting these sheets up, they were cutting them to go into the different shapes and everything else where they needed to go. And then they came along with the tape and taped up all the joints. And then, hang on. First of all, they came out with the nail gun and they're like, and it just seemed some random pattern they were doing. I'm pretty sure it wasn't actually random. But they were doing with this nail gun thing. And then they came and taped everything up. All the joints and everything got taped up. And then they put this mesh on around everything. And then we can only see the one window from here, but then they got these polystyrene bits and put them around the window so the window actually stands out and is all protected. And they ran the cork gun around all of that. And but they did, and then they put all the plastic all over the windows, and then they started putting the stucco on. So they did all of that in the morning, and in the afternoon they spent putting the stucco on. And that's when I noticed that they were in long pants, hoodies with the hood up as their plaster. And I figured out why. It's because it was a form of protection for their body, like overalls or something. And I'm like, surely they could have found something cooler to wear that would give them the same protection as what the hoodie and the pants were wearing. I mean, because it was like, like I said, 85 degrees outside, but felt like 94. So those guys and they were in the sun. Those guys must have been sweltering out there. But they've got all the stucco done. So a whole day process from putting on the polystyrene all the way through to putting the stucco on. It's currently drying right now because I can see this lighter patch that went on as a dark gray, but it's starting to lighten up in patches where it's dry. It's starting to dry out and things. There's a lot of wind outside today too because of the wind advisories and stuff that we've got going on a little further north with fire warnings and everything else. Oh, sorry, code reds, whatever, red flag warnings. So yes, we've been watching the plastic blowing around out there. But they've cleaned everything up. They still have their machinery and stuff back, so I'm not sure if they're coming back tomorrow to do a second coat. But yeah, it was a fascinating process just watching them while I was working today. And so it'll be interesting to see if they come back and do a second coat, because I noticed that their machinery is still like, it's kind of like a mixer for, I guess, mixing the stucco. Kind of looks like a mini cement mixer is what it looks like, but for stucco. So we'll keep you posted on that one. I don't know if they're coming back and they're going to do another coat of the stucco. I don't know if they got all the way around, but they definitely got the front stuff done. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they come back tomorrow. But yeah, so it's watching this process of this house. And so that was our entertainment for the day. I kind of annoyed Zephyr a little bit because I decided I'm going to open up the blind in the bedroom, not the blind over the head of the bed where the sun would come streaming in, but the blind on this side, which is the driver's side. Once the sun got off this side of the RV, I went into the bedroom and opened up that blind today. And I went in at one point and Zephy's like stretched out on my side of the bed, like with her nose pointing towards the fan, her feet towards the end of the bed, and she's just stretched out. And I'm like, I thought you would have been back at the top of the bed with your head buried. But and we also did some training today too. We're going to put some treats in my pocket when we go out for our walk this evening, because I've been trying to teach her to walk on a loose leash, and she's starting to get better at it. So now we're working on heeling, and she did really good. I mean, really walking like 8 paces up and down the RV. But she did really good with sit. As soon as I would stop, she would sit, and I didn't have to tell her to do that. So I got her at heel and walking along with the treat in my hand, holding her there and all that. And as soon as I stopped, she sat. She got a treat. So I've got her coming to slide, heeling as we walk up and down the RV, all of 7 or 8 paces, depending how big the stride is, and her sitting as soon as I stop. So I'm like, yes. So we're going to test that theory out when we go outside tonight. That's going to be the interesting one. Because there's all sorts of smells and distractions, sparkly stuff that dogs like to go and investigate and things. So we'll see if we can keep her on task. But it'll be bribery and corruption at its best. Dog treats on hand. And there's one time I was walking down the thing and I wasn't feeding her often enough. And I turn around and go, where are you? And she's like back behind me, like sniffing around. I'm like, yeah, no. And then I had my accountability call this morning, which was awesome. It always is. But I did not meet my goals for this week. And I talked about that and to why. And I had set these goals up on getting some stuff done. I just did not realize the preparation work I had to put in order to do what I had to do. Yes, I can just go in and do the plug the stuff in, but there's some prep work I have to do before that. So I said, so my goal now is to have at least one done by next Wednesday and have the process figured out and written out so that every time I come to do another one, I'm just like, okay, this is the first step. This is the second step, because I have to have forms on this thing, which I didn't have the forms done. So now let's go get the forms done. And then I had to figure out how the payment system works and how that gets plugged in. So it's a learning process, which is good, because to me, I may not have accomplished my goals today, but I have learned, because I had a breakdown, because I couldn't finish it, because I wasn't fully aware of all the work. So I had that breakdown, but now I've got the breakthrough where I'm now going through and doing it step by step and working out the process, working out all the pieces that I have to do for each portion of these things I'm putting together. And then once I got that process down and I've got it in the order, then start going through and putting it together and making adjustments and changes where I need to be. Instead of just thinking, oh, this is great. I can just go here and I can do this and I can do this and I can do that. I can copy and paste this into here, copy and paste this into here, and it'll all work. Yeah, there's a thing called a form you got to put in there. And then if you want to get paid, there's the payment system you got to hook up. And so like, oh, yeah. So we're going to be working on that this week. And so by next Wednesday, I've said I'll have one set up, the process worked out, and in order and everything else. So there's going to be some busy work coming up with that, figuring that out. And I have my mastermind group this weekend too, so I'm kind of excited about that, which is why I can't go get the mail on Saturday. I may be able to get the mail on Saturday, but I'm thinking that, yeah. But usually after the mastermind group, I got to go take a nap because I'm mentally exhausted, even though my brain is like going with all the new inspiration and everything that's come out of it. See if he likes it. She looks to see what's happening. But yeah, having a look and having a look at it and that, but I probably won't get it done on the mail on Saturday, because usually after the mastermind group, my brain is just like going like crazy with ideas and stuff, and I'm also mentally exhausted as well. So that's usually when I go just lay down, take a nap, and then get back up and I can go again. So that's why I can't go get them out, because by the time we finish that and I go and take my nap and get up and have some lunch, I may do the lunch before I go take the nap, then it's getting too close to get over there in time, because we usually finish around 1 o'clock. So between 1 and 2 we finish. So it doesn't give me enough time to get over there by the time I do all of that. So Sunday we will nosy on over there and get that done. So it wasn't the win I was expecting, but I won in another way because I had a breakdown, but I got the breakthrough accomplished, and that to me is a win. So it's a small win, but I'll take it anyway and celebrate it anyway. So let us know what wins you've had. I'm out of here. I'm going to go WALK the DOG and see if I can get her to heal while we're outside today. It's going to be a learning process. I'm going to make sure I take enough treats. But anyway, go have a super fantastic sparkling day, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for Thankful Thursday. Hey, Conora.